In the agenda, the title of my delegation is incorrect. The actual title of my delegation was addressing some misinformation on December 17, 2024 meeting. It concerns me that when like omissions are made in minutes and things like that, because it creates knowledge gaps. So people start speculating, and speculative reasoning is where many errors can come up. So as a clear example, somebody could speculate, well, why did they not include Daniel's comments from that meeting? The minutes indeed were inaccurate. So the residents should deserve good, accurate minutes. That's just an accountability purpose. But the main thing I wanted to talk about with you beyond this was actually this guy with you here, this clipper. But there's 3 passages in here that need to be corrected because it's in the obligation of the RM, if they want to pursue truth-based claims addressing misinformation, that it has to be consistent because they publish it. The RM publishes things in the clipper. And I have other examples too, but I want to focus just on December 17th.
You won't have time, sir. Your time is up. Any questions from council at all? Mark?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd ask for an extension for this delegation. As you know, this is the first delegation that we've had this new rule of 10 minutes versus 15 minutes, and we can see that it's already impeding what people want to speak about. We've already killed question period. This is the only venue that people have to speak to us, and I don't think it'd be right, fair, or just to squash somebody who's prepared a lot of information that not only is pertinent to this situation, but quite frankly has some bearing on how we proceed. So I would just ask that we give him more time to express.
Well, we did. We gave him 3 extra minutes starting.
Well, that's not really what I would call generous.
I didn't really get to the actual, the piece I have here actually quotes the mayor in it. So it's very important that this information is put forward.
Karen, are you videotaping this? You can't. You can't videotape this. It's in our procedural bylaw. So you have to put your cell phone down.
Could I ask for clarity from
Karen?
Point of order?
Just 1 minute. Karen, are you videotaping this?
I'm
Yes, you are.
watching something, yeah.
You have to put your cell phone down. You can't videotape in here. Whoa, I'm just talking to Karen. Karen, can you put it down, please? Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just some clarity from the CEO. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just some clarity from the CEO. Is the procedure bylaw prohibit people from using cell phones for videotaping?
You're required to have 48 hours in advance permission to videotape or audio tape meetings.
And how can we change that?
And that's for
Because
the media though, isn't it?
yes, that's exactly right.
And she's not media.
She's
Yeah.
not media, so I don't think it applies to any resident, to be frank.
Yeah, if you can just send that to us, Mr. Page, send it to
I
your
prefer
council.
it's in the chamber because this involves information where there's the mayor has made comments that involve false information that happened in this chamber.
Then bring it forward and an addendum there, and that's just the way it'll be. So thank you very much, Mr. Page. Then, Mark?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So again, this is one way that a democratically elected body, if they're not in the public's interest, they can suppress and actually eliminate the public voice. You're seeing it right in front of your eyes. It's 6:36 on February 4th, 2025. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. This is, again, history being made where an elected body is saying thank you, but no thank you. And I'm disgusted.
All right, we can go to adoption of the minutes there. 5.1 is February the 4th council minutes for February the 4th of 2025. Get a mover and a seconder for that, please. Glenn and Melinda. Any questions, comments with regards to the February 4th council minutes? Mark?
Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Daniel Page, who is what delegation, has submitted some revisions, and it's actually on the agenda. I'm just wondering how they were applied to the minutes, what corrections or additions were made to the minutes.
Administration made no changes. It'll be up to council to suggest any changes you want to incorporate.
Thank you. So I do have some comments on that, and I would like to read that if at all possible. The minutes prepared for the February 4th, 25 council meeting being considered for approval at this meeting contain factual errors and major omissions. I ask you to review a video that Dr. Page provided. I'm not sure if you had a chance to do that, but the whole document provides why changes are needed, but for brevity, a list of the corrections are given immediate below. And I believe those were emailed to administration, and I'm not sure if they're emailed to the rest of council, but they are in the agenda. So they're definitely there. So in terms of amendments, there's a list of suggested changes, and I'm not sure if you want me to go through all of this, but line 1 change was changed to addressing some misinformation on December 17, 2024 meeting to instead was corrected to addressing some misinformation on December 17th, 2024 meeting. Line 4, just before he, quote, reminded the council, close quotation, insert the following sentence, Daniel contrasted strategies of addressing misinformation, what misinformation and disinformation are, and gave his advice around addressing misinformation as a professor and obligations associated with these strategies. Next, the whole sentence discussing Dr. Page citing a local newspaper is missing, despite this occurring during the delegation. The final sentence lacks context, and we're suggesting adding the following sentence. In the following order on line 8, just before the final sentence, Daniel said there were 3 passages related to December 17, 2024 council meeting containing misinformation published in the Clipper, January 2nd, 2025 on page 7. I think I'll dispense with the rest of it because, again, we all have copies of this instead of reading it. And
Yeah.
but I would suggest that some changes be made because they're inaccurate, particularly to the delegation that was presented to us.
Thank you, Councillor Miller. Anybody else? I don't know how many times we've said this. I've said this. Their minutes are an abbreviated synopsis of what the council meeting was. It's not transcription there. That's what the audio is all about. It's strictly on that. So the minutes, way we have them now, I see no reason to change it there. So I see no other questions from council. If we can vote with regards to the council minutes, that's item 5.1 for February the 4th of 2025. First of all, those in support with a show of hands, please. That'll be Melinda, Glenn, and Patrick. Those opposed? Councillors Miller and Kaczynski, and so passed. Then we'll get to 5.2, and that's council minutes for February the 18th. Can I get a mover and a second for that too, please? Councillors Miller, Fuel, and Warren. Okay, I see there's an addition here, request for revisions for February the 18th. There, has everybody read those revisions there? It's part of our agenda. Any questions or comments before we vote with regard to that? Councillor Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, the February 18th council meeting minutes being considered tonight contain factual errors, have strange changes compared to the agenda and omissions. Again, we have the package of changes, but I would say that I would be incensed if someone documented my presentation and delegation or comments inaccurately and wrongfully. In fact, it would be a situation where I would probably be irate and or very disappointed at very least at how these are being recorded. So at very least, we have these for the record. I'm not going to read them because they are part of the actual agenda, but it's unfortunate that we're not, catering to our public, that we're not listening actually, and that we're not amenable to providing some reconciliation and some changes that they suggest, because I would, as I say, as a delegation and reporting to council, if a former councillor or some meeting recorded my or interpreted my delegation inappropriately or wrongfully, it sure would not be a very appropriate thing. So I'm not sure I can convince or say anything different to the rest of council, but
Thank you, Councillor Miller. Again, it's all recorded and they're minutes. It's a synopsis. We've gotten direction from the provincial government with regards to this. It is meant for an abbreviated breakdown of what had occurred there. It should be a page. We're getting into 2 or 3 pages there. This has taken up a lot of time for our CEO and staff there. And again, we've been through this for, several times. So with that said, I think we're prepared to vote. If I can get a show of hands of those in support of the council minutes for February the 18th. That's item 5.2, by the way, on the agenda. Can I get a show of hands? Councillor Warren and Deputy Mayor Fuel and Tarian. Those opposed? Councillors Miller and Kaczynski, and so passed.